Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I make prize picks content, all that good stuff. All these videos, they get posted on this subreddit right here. Other people make content here. You can talk with a lot of people. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. Tried to do my best with the Wizards today, trying to rank them point per dollar. I feel like I got most of them right. Like, Poole was my first ranking point per dollar. He smashed. Champ was my second. He nuked. Butler was my third. I guess him and Baldwin were the two that I got wrong. Baldwin did a bit better than Butler. And then Holmes did better or worse than both of them. And then Eugene did far worse, but he got injured. And then Kispert did the worst by far for his price. So I feel like I did a pretty good job there. And then, yeah, did the same for Celtics. Like, I just make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day because a lot of this stuff does change, right? And you can ask me questions about the slate, pretty much anything you need. I'll have that link down below. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right there. All right, let's get to my lineup from tonight. So good night overall. Today my core was Jordan Poole, Jason Tatum, Jared Butler, and O'Shea Brissett. That was my core. So pretty good core today. Round out my lineup with Victor Wembanyama, Kawhi Leonard, Justin Champagnie, Sam Hauser, and that was it. Yeah, so pretty solid night overall. I feel like I nailed the Washington guys pretty well. The reason I had Butler core play over a guy like Champagnie, I thought Butler was going to come in a lot lower owned. As you saw, I had Justin higher point per dollar than I did Jared Butler in the Reddit post there, but I made Butler a core play over him just because I thought Jared Butler would be a lot more lower owned. I thought there was a good chance he could play alongside Poole a bit. I don't think he did, but I don't hate the decision of making him a core play, right? He's a really good point per minute guy. I mean, he did good for his price point. He over 5x, but obviously Justin just blew him out of the water, but yeah, I don't mind that. 20% owned. I thought it was pretty good play there. So yeah, really solid night. Hope you guys had a good night tonight. And let's jump right into the video. So Cleveland, they're going to be without Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Max Strus in a really good match pair going up against the Pacers. So I think there's a good amount to like here. Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, Jordan Niang, Sam Merrill. Might even see a bit of Craig Porter. Also, Dean Wade is doubtful. So yeah, sign me up for some Cleveland. Jared Allen, I think, looks really good. Darius Garland could have to do everything for this team. I think he looks very good. Karis LeVert at 6.8K is going to have to play huge minutes, be the number 2 on offense. I think he's a solid play even at that price point. Isaac Okoro at 4.9 is going to have to play big minutes. He's going to have a higher usage rate. I think he's firmly in play for value. Jordan Niang going to have a huge role in this team now. He's a guy that's going to chuck when he's out there. I like him quite a bit for value. Sam Merrill, I got another guy that's going to absolutely chuck when he's out there. I like him at 4.2K. Like I said, Craig Porter might be, see a little bit of run from Craig Porter, maybe, but I don't think it's necessary to go there. I'd rather just play Sam Merrill, George Niang. All right. But yeah, this team looks great. Really like this team going up against the Pacers. I'm going to move through these pretty quickly just because it's a bigger slate. So, all right, Pacers at the Cavs. Not a good matchup here. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Halliburton. I'm just going to keep saying he's a large field tournament play for me. He goes unowned every slate. He continues to bust every single slate. So if you want to go there, I mean, sure. He's clearly not 100% right now. So strictly tournament only for me. I'd rather just play Siakam, who's garnered a much bigger role with Halliburton ever since Halliburton came back from his hamstring injury, which in competitive games, he's playing high 30s minutes as well. So honestly, I do give the edge to Siakam right now, point per dollar. Neither are standout plays for me. Miles Turner, his minutes, not great. I think he's priced right. We do have math right now, so you're going to see a bit of Neesmith at 5.3K play bigger minutes. I don't mind him. He might be my favorite play on this team, point per dollar, outside of Siakam. I think I prefer him point per dollar to Halliburton. So yeah, not much here. T.J. McConnell, I mean, he'll be really productive when he's on the court, but I think the price point now is just where it should be. Like a 1.2 fantasy point per minute guy getting 20 minutes, 4.6. I mean, it's fine. It's playable for value, but I feel like more value will open up. Jalen Smith, he'll get the backup 5, another good point per minute guy, but once again, I feel like we'll have more value that'll open up later. If there's no value tomorrow, yeah, you can consider these guys, but yeah, let's move on to Detroit. So Not a good matchup here going up against Boston, but Boston could be resting some guys. Honestly, it's pretty smart by Boston. Getting their guys some rest up against bad teams heading into the playoffs. I mean, I don't even think they're injuries, to be honest. I think it's fake injuries, and they're just resting guys outside of Porzingis, obviously. If that's the case, I mean, I think that's pretty smart. Might be injuries. I'm not entirely sure, but keep an eye on Ozzy Thompson. If he is out, you're going to continue to get a starting lineup of Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, Simone Fontecchio, and Isaiah Stewart. With that being said, in this matchup going up against Boston, I don't mind some of these plays. I think Simone at 5.7K is intriguing just because the amount of minutes he's playing right now, the amount of shot attempts he's getting up. He's very, very safe just because he's playing a ton of minutes. Good rebounder. I don't mind him as like a filler play for me. And then Cade Cunningham at 7.9K in competitive games. Before was playing like 36, 37 minutes a game. Now this game, only 32 minutes here. 31 here, no foul trouble. 28 here. No foul trouble, so not sure what's up with that, but 7.9K. If you get his high 30s minutes, he is too cheap. So like I'm fine with the Cade there. Ivy at 6.6, I think feels priced right, to be honest. Isaiah Stewart, I think feels priced right, and keep an eye on Ozzer. If Ozzer's in, probably not going to play like Simone. Isaiah going to get a downgrade. Ozzer himself, if he's not on the limit, coming back from an illness at this price point, I would like quite a bit, but just keep an eye on that. All right, moving on to Boston. So it's just tough to say right now, but it's a really good spot. I'm sure some guys will rest here. So we'll see. If we get a similar situation tonight, tomorrow that happened tonight, then you're going to want a lot of Boston. Then Tatum's going to look phenomenal. I know Drew had a really bad game tonight, but he would look really good. Al Horford would be a solid play. Sam Hauser, I would still like quite a bit, even at that price point. Peyton Pritchard would be firmly in play. Brissett would be a solid value. If Sam Hauser can't go, then I'd assume just Peyton Pritchard would move into the starting lineup. He would look great. They'd have to probably dust off a bit of possibly like a Svi Mikhailuk or a Springer. Might have to get a bit more run. What else? I think that's it. So if we get same situation that happened tonight, tomorrow you're definitely going to want some exposure to Boston. Now, if we get everyone in but Porzingis, then I still think Horford's in play. I still do like Tatum in this matchup going up against Detroit. I still think he's a bit too cheap at 9.9K. He's a go-to guy, obviously stuffing the stat sheet. So I still do like Tatum. Then if Brown plays, he's fine. But at this close in price point, I probably rather would get up to Tatum. I think Derek White's probably priced right, and Drew would be priced right as well. And then Al Horford would be decent. And then I wouldn't touch the value here. All right, moving on to Miami. So big news to keep an eye on here is Jimmy Butler. He was out today. Jovic was out, and Kevin Love is out. If everyone's in, I don't love much here going up against the Sixers. I mean, Bam Adebayo should be able to feast, but I think he's priced right. I think Jimmy Butler's priced right. I think Terry Rozier's priced right. Duncan Robinson a bit overpriced if everyone's in. Same with Caleb Martin. Jamie would be overpriced. There wouldn't be too much here if everyone's in. Now, if we get the same situation that happened today, happens tomorrow, then they're going to run a really, really tight rotation. I believe I have the rotation up here. You got a starting lineup of Haywood Highsmith, Terry Rozier, Jamie Jackets Jr., Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson. Let me just double check Underdog to see if we got some updates, because sometimes DraftKings kind of does screwy stuff with the Q tags. So I'm kind of just going off DraftKings questionable tags and what I saw today. So that's why we're going over both ways. So with that being said, you saw Bam Adebayo. He played 37 minutes. Duncan Robinson, 35 minutes. Haywood Highsmith, 25 minutes in the starting lineup. Caleb Martin, 30 off the bench. And then Jamie played huge minutes in the starting lineup. So if we get that again, then I think the guy that really stands out to me is Jamie Jackets Jr. at 5K. He'd be one of the better mid-range plays in the slate. I would really, really like him. Duncan would have a huge role. I'd like his ceiling quite a bit in GPPs. Terry Rozier would be a very, very solid play at 7K. Bam Adebayo would have to do absolutely everything for this team. I'd really like him, even at close to 9K. What else? Haywood Highsmith started. He'd be firmly in play for value. Bit of a bad, horrible game tonight, but he'd be in play. Played 25 minutes. Not going to be the highest usage guy when he's out there, but yeah. And then if we get like situations where Butler's out, like Jovic is in, then I like Jovic for value of 4.4K. I'd assume he'd just start for Haywood Highsmith, and then I'd still like Jamie quite a bit. So just keep an eye on all this stuff for tomorrow. All All right, moving on to the Sixers. So Tobias Harris is questionable. If he is out, you're going to get Nick Batum in the starting lineup. They went with Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, Kyle Lowry, Nick Batum, and I believe it was Mo Bamba. They continue to go to Mo Bamba. Played 28 minutes just out of nowhere, by the way. So with that being said, I really like Tyrese Maxey at 8.6K. I mean, he's been mid of late, but going to play 40 minutes, going to be their go-to guy. Not necessarily the best matchup here going up against Miami, but still like him in GPPs. I think the guy that stands out to me once again here is going to be Kelly Oubre at 6.3K. Nice eligibility with shooting guard, shooting forward eligibility. Played 34 minutes last game. Had a really, really good first half, just slowed down in the second half, but I think he would stand out to me quite a bit. But Buddy Hield, I think I'd rather just get up to like a guy like Kelly Oubre, and I'll continue to mention Paul Reed. I know Mo Bamba just randomly played 28 minutes last game, but normally he's going to play high 20s minutes, 5.6K. He does have a ceiling in GPPs, nice eligibility as well, but more strictly tournament only for me. And then I think Batum would be a solid value. They just have no other option to play him big minutes. So I would like Batum there. What else? If you think Mo Bamba gets 28 minutes again, like if I knew Mo Bamba got 28 minutes, I'd probably play him at 4.1K. I'm just not confident that they're going to continue to give him that type of run, right? All right, moving on to Portland. So Jeremy Grant is doubtful, I believe. Yeah, Jeremy Grant doubtful. We'll have to keep an eye on Matisse Thybulle as well. If he is out, they started Banton last game. They played him 40 minutes as well. Not the best spot here going up against Chicago. But with that being said, I think Aiden's been on another level of late. Portland, they're running really tight rotation in competitive games. So if you want to continue to ride the Aiden hot streak, I'm not going to say no. I think Vooch looks a little bit better on the other side of this game. But if you want to play him, I'm not going to say no. He's been incredible of late. Simon's playing huge minutes. I like his ceiling at 7.7K. Banton played 40 minutes. Just seems like they hate Scoot. So Banton starts. I do like him at 5.6K. Scoot, just a dart for me. And then Kamara, Chris Murray, they're both playable. I think I prefer Kamara to Chris Murray. And then if Thybulle's in, it's going to hurt everyone. Be less confident about Banton. You know, it's going to hurt the value. Wouldn't really hurt the main guys, though, for me. Moving on to Chicago, so the big news to keep an eye on here is Alex Caruso. We have Kobe White doubtful. Phenomenal matchup here. I mean, I absolutely love Vooch going up against Portland. You guys know I absolutely loved him here going up against Washington. It's almost as good of a matchup. I really, really like Nikola Vucevic here. I think DeMar DeRozan is very, very solid. Maybe the ownership will drop after last game's dud, as he was really, really popular last night, so I like him quite a bit as a bounce-back candidate. Ayo Dosunmu, especially if Caruso's out, going to have to play all the minutes he can handle. I like him quite a bit. Even if Caruso's in, he's still a solid play. If he's out, he's just going to have to play like 48 minutes. Caruso's very safe, but I prefer Ayo Dosunmu. And then Craig is a solid value. And then if Caruso's out, I mean, they're going to have to play Craig. They're going to have to play the main guys, huge minutes. This made-up name, Anwar Bidum, is probably going to have to play a decent amount. Just made-up name. You might see a bit more Javon Carter as well. So I just keep an eye on Caruso there. All right, moving on to Minnesota. So Rudy Gobert here is questionable. Kyle Anderson questionable, but I do expect him to play. And then Monte Morris doesn't really matter too much. So with that being said, phenomenal matchup here going up against Utah. Even at 10K, I really, really like Anthony Edwards. Really good spot here going up against Utah. Should play 35, 36, 37 minutes in close games. As long as this game stays competitive, I really like Ant as a spend up. If Rudy Gobert plays and he's not on a limit, I love him at 7.9K because in competitive games, he was playing close to 40 minutes. Good shot blocker, double-double upside, good defender. So I would really like him if he's not on a limit. Him, Vooch, two really good center plays. If no limit, Nasri would be way overpriced. Mike Conley would be priced right. And then Kyle Anderson I still think is fine. Wouldn't go to much else here. But if we get Rudy Gobert out, I mean, there's even more to like here. Then Ant looks great. Then Naz Reid I still really, really like at 7.3K. He'd be too cheap still, in my opinion. Mike Conley would be solid. Kyle Anderson at 5.5K. He would be very, very safe. Stat sheet stuffer would like him quite a bit. You're going to see a bit of NAW off the bench. McDaniels at 4.7. Probably priced right, but still firmly in play. And if we get Kyle Anderson out, I would assume NAW will move into the starting lineup. He'd have to play like close to 40 minutes. I'd like him a ton for value. And then it'd be a bump to like McDaniels. And then the main guys would just have to play a ton. So yeah, there might be a good amount to like here on Minnesota. Moving on to Utah, so it all depends on Markkanen. If he's in, I don't think I get to really anything much on Utah. Keep an eye on the starting lineup also. They went with Walker Kessler in the starting lineup last game. Am I missing something? I don't think there was anything different from the last games. Let me pull. That's one thing I wanted to. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think it's just Clarkson out. They went with Walker Kessler in the starting lineup. And Markkinen out. So one thing to note here is they played Sexton off the bench. Still played 31 minutes, though. And they started Chris Dunn. So if we get a similar lineup, I think Chris Dunn's a solid value. THT was the DMP last game. Don't play him. Sexton, if he comes off the bench, more GPP only play for me. John Collins at 7.2 is fine. I think he's priced right. If they start Walker Kessler again, I do like him quite a bit at 5.4K. About a fantasy point per minute guy, you give him 30 minutes. Again, he is too cheap. Just not the best spot here going up against Minnesota. And then Hendricks is very, very safe at 5.2K. Should play big minutes. And if you think the game blows out, they're going to give their young guys run. So Keontae George, Hendricks, they're going to get a ton of run regardless. They're going to be blowout proof, basically. They're going to play in a blowout. They're going to play in a competitive game. That's one thing to note there. And one thing to note with Memphis, Vince Williams not going to play tomorrow, is they ran an incredibly tight rotation last game. Look at these minutes. Jaren Jackson Jr., 36. Desmond Bane, his first game back, 32. Santi Aldama played 39 minutes. G.G. Jackson started. He played 35 minutes. What else? I think that's it. The rotation up. I don't think I'm missing anything. Let me just double check. Okay, here we go. Luke Kennard played 30 minutes. And then you saw Contra 24 off the bench. Laravia 23.5 off the bench. So I think this team's probably going to be really low owned tomorrow. And if you think they run a similar rotation here, I think there's a good amount to like. I think Desmond Bane at 8.2 is firmly in play. I think Jaren's firmly in play at 8.4K. If they start G.G. Jackson again at 6.1K, he's firmly in play. Aldama, firmly in play. Kennard's out. So they probably start like a Conchar, I'd assume, at 4.7K, or is Goodwin with the team? Hold on. Missed that. I guess we'll wait and have to see who's inactive, because they've been having players inactive and active. Probably start like a Conchar, but if like Goodwin's with the team and he starts at the point, I like him a ton. So keep an eye on that. But I do think there's a good amount to like here for Memphis and GPPs with the rotation they ran last game. Sorry guys, when I was doing my first scan of the slate, I didn't even see Kennard was out. So keep it on if like Goodwin's with the team, or they just start like Conchar, etc. But they're going to have to run a really, really tight rotation here again, because they're going to have what? They're going to have Jaren play a lot of minutes, Bane, that's 2, Aldama 3, G.G. Jackson 4, possibly Goodwin 5 if he's there, Laravia 6, John Conchar 7, and then these guys. So they're going to have to run a really tight rotation tomorrow. I don't know if a ton of people are going to realize that. With that being said, phenomenal matchup here for Sabonis. I love him as a spend up. I mean, looking at the spend ups on the slate, I mean, you don't have a ton of options. You have Ant, you have Sabonis. I really like both. You have Tatum, who I think looks great. You have DeJounte Murray, who looks phenomenal. Actually, you do have a ton of options. All these guys look phenomenal. I love DeJounte. I really like Tatum. I really like Ant. I really like Sabonis. I really like Anthony Davis. I think LeBron's in a good spot. So yeah, you have a ton of really, really good spend ups on the slate. Yeah, I love Sabonis here. Definitely prefer him to Fox, but Fox is firmly in play. And then with Trey Lyles out, you're going to get huge minutes for Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray. I think Barnes is firmly in play, as disgusting as it sounds. Keegan Murray's solid at 5.5K as well. I think Monk's priced right. All right, last set of games here, guys. Sorry, this is taking forever. OG Anunoby, if he is out, I would assume Precious Achiuwa starts. 5.3K. We know Thibs likes to run an incredibly tight rotation, so would like Precious there. Dante, I still think is priced right. Josh Hart, he's going to play 50 minutes, which makes him firmly in play. And then Brunson could be their go-to guy, play big minutes. I like him quite a bit. And one thing to note here, Isaiah Hartenstein played 28 minutes last game. If they're going to slowly tick up his minutes like around 30, he is too cheap at 5.2K. So I'm intrigued here by Hartenstein. Just want to mention that. Don't know if we go to much else here. Moving on to the Warriors, basically a cross-off for me. Steph's fine for GPPs. Don't love much else. And this is a game where I like a lot. So back-to-back here, we'll see if anyone rests. But DeJounte Murray, I really, really like at 9.8K. Jalen Johnson solid at 7.5K. Bogey went to the locker room, but if he plays a no limit, I like him at 6.6K. Capella is solid. Hunter, I think is priced right. I'm not going to play the value here though. But if Bogey is for some reason out, you could play like a Vit. He's in play, but he's so bad. I'm not going to play Vit with the team healthy. But if Bogey is out, you could consider him. Then they're going to dust off the Matthews. And then there will be a lot more usage for, DeJounte Murray, Jalen Johnson, etc. And then moving on to the Lakers, really, really like LeBron. I really like Anthony Davis in this matchup. I know they're above 10K, but it's such a really, really good matchup here. I think both are very strong options. D'Lo Reeves, they're both priced right. I don't know if I go to much else. So sorry for the stuttering, all that back and forth. Yeah, I will talk to y'all in the next video.